Hey guys, welcome back to The Art of Craftsmanship. My name's Dustin, and we're back again at Maker Camp. This year we're going to be asking a bunch of people questions and trying to get their perspective on what it is to be a maker. What is a maker?
Oh, that's a big question, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we need to go over these again. We need to go over these.
Oh, you're going to start with that, are you?
A maker is somebody that wants to solve problems, gets turned on and fulfilled and enlightened by doing things and learning new things. And I believe that somebody doesn't necessarily have to use their hands to be a maker. They could be a producer of entertainment, producer of stories. You make things with your mind.
Expressing yourself and bringing your ideas to life.
A maker is a guy like us who spends a lot of time in his shop all by his lonesome, just making anything he can to get that creative energy out.
Somebody that is involved in making all kinds of things, figures things out on their own, problem solves, works with all kinds of different mediums.
It's basically a hacker under the general sense of we can make this better, we can make it different. We got to do something different than what we got.
So it can be anything from painting your mailbox to a complex mechanical clock.
Yeah, woodworking, leatherworking, blacksmithing, filming, photography, I guess, anything. Cooking.
I think that a maker is anybody that makes anything. It could even be memories, it could be food, it can literally anything that you started with just pieces and end with an end result.
Awesome, cool people. I mean, everybody's so different. So, whoever gets in front of my camera is a maker to me.
There's so many wonderful things that are brought into the world. If you bring any of them in, as far as I'm concerned, you're a maker.
But I typically think of a maker as somebody who's willing to really expand and try a little bit of everything, even for their own benefit, for their own family's benefit. Like you were just talking about making this microphone, like that's maker stuff right there. Like that's a maker stuff.
Maker's anyone that makes anything with any materials for themselves or for others, for fun or for work. As long as you're making something out of pieces or parts or nothing, you're a maker, right?
Yeah. I think it's somebody who is creative and who can be innovative. And this whole community is
everybody
full of
here.
them, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Someone who thinks creatively and solves problems and likes to craft with their hands.
To me, a maker is someone who just does cool stuff, honestly, with their hands or with machines, that does something on their own without computers to do everything for them.
A maker, in my opinion, is somebody that just can't live without making something, without producing something.
Anyone that's creative and doing something with their hands and putting a little bit of themselves out there in the world.
When something breaks, they try to figure out how to put it back together.
Just anybody who has the ability to actually do something, whether it's a skill or a trade or it's just an idea that they have the ability to actually manifest into something real.
To me, it's just anybody that creates. It doesn't necessarily have to be a trade, per se, in my eyes. Anybody who makes anything. So that's awesome. Right on.
If you had all the time in the world and unlimited financial means, would you create the same work you make today?
I would make things for myself because the way that I make furniture is for other people, which I enjoy very, very much. If I didn't have to feed my family, I would just be making cool stuff all the time.
I would create the same work. I'm slowly in the process of retiring from the day job so that I can do this full time. So yeah, I would do what I'm doing right now.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to make stuff.
No financial obligations. Yeah, I'd be a smith. That would be a good life.
That's a hard one. No, I would not make the same stuff I do now. The amount of tools I would have I can't imagine how big that building would need to be. Yeah, between machining and any metalworking you can possibly think of. I mean, something the size of the Center for Metal Arts maybe, and then woodworking. I mean, I love getting my hands in everything.
If I had unlimited means, I would probably still do exactly what I'm doing now, but I would never talk to anybody that was paying me. And that would be That would make life easy.
I get to spend my days 8 hours, 9 hours a day doing whatever I want in the shop.
I would make the same stuff I make now, just a lot bigger.
I think I would probably do the same stuff that I do now, but maybe on a bigger scale, I guess.
Oh, it definitely would make the same work that we make today.
I agree.
It just, no financial holdback would just allow for so many more capabilities of tools and stuff like that.
If anything, I would add to larger scale.
Yes.
Because space matters when it comes to me with painting or, sewing, or for the fact that we do work with a multiple variety of mediums, then space comes along with that, and more space, we're able to work larger.
Yeah, I think I would. I would make the same things for sure. Yeah.
I'd do what I make now. Yeah, I'm super happy doing it. And it's such an amazing experience to give back to the makers.
No, I'd still make what I make now because I'm passionate about what I make now. And I'm passionate about it because I worked so hard to get what I have now. So I think if everything was just handed to me, it wouldn't be that much fun anymore.
I think I would make what I make now because I'm most comfortable with it, and it's a true passion of what I build. So I got to go with axes again.
Yeah, I would make what I'm doing today. I love what I do, and I've tried a lot of things. So I think no matter what, if I wasn't fishing, then I'd still be hand engraving. So
nice.
Some of the stuff I make now, because I make puppets for other people, but I would probably spend most of my time making puppets for a show that I'd love to make. That's always like the brainchild in my life, which is teaching people and kids how to use tools through a show about tools for kids with puppets.
Nice. That's great.
It's called the Toolbox.
Oh, that's awesome. Now
It's not happening. Please do, and then just hire me as a fabricator or something.
I would go full-time doing this, 100%.
For me, overcome battery challenges. And so we have a significant amount of solar energy, but we can't convert it to batteries, and we can't store it and use it in a way that's effective. And so we struggle. And so we can integrate that into an infrastructure that's sustainable, focusing on how to store solar into a battery way.
I'd probably make a lot more, but the same stuff, because I make lots of weird things.
Kind of already doing it, even though I don't have the financial ability to. I get a lot more into the metal sculpture work, and that's really what I would keep doing is wood and metal furniture.
Maybe more influential type projects or community-based projects, less private type work and more things that would just influence a lot of people. That's what I've enjoyed so much about these two projects, is something that so many people are going to get to use. It's not like a one family thing, but many, many people are going to get to use this.
I feel like I would want to still make something that's similar to what it is that I'm currently making. Unfortunately, epoxy is really expensive, so it would be really hard to eat if epoxy is that expensive. So it would have to be something similar, or just painting. I would probably still paint, for sure. Yeah.
I'd make the same stuff. I think I'd do the same thing. Just full-time instead. That's it. I like to make it all, so let's just keep doing it.
Yeah.
If you were a type of tool, what tool would you be?
Is that me answering or my wife?
I think he is the tool.
Oh, thanks. That's nice.
Oh my God.
I would be a timber framing chisel, 2 inches, nice and long, Henry Taylor brand. That would be me.
A broadband grinder. You can do just about anything with it.
I feel like I probably got to say like axe or maybe really nice Japanese slick, just because they're so cool. They're so sexy, but yeah,
Super sexy.
No, I mean, it fits, but
I guess so. Whatever tool is maybe a hard exterior and a soft interior. I guess because that's kind of how I am.
Dead blow hammer.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Yeah, because maybe I don't know, come across tough, but I'm just a big teddy bear.
I would be a power hammer.
Probably be a knife. Yeah, probably just like Spyderco, just a pocket knife, just utility knife.
I would be hands. I love building things by hands. I like touching and interacting with it. Kinesthetic learning is what I'm all about. I think manipulating through that process is my way of communicating with the world.
A mill. I don't know.
A mill. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
That's something very versatile and accurate.
I'd probably go with the bandsaw. If I had to be a tool, I'd go with the bandsaw for the versatility.
I don't know. I would be a tool with a singular purpose.
What do you think I would
Heat
be?
gun.
A heat gun. I would be a heat gun. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh man, graver. Because I love them.
MIG TIG welder multi-process machine.
Welder.
Scissors. Always scissors. I love scissors.
I'd be a bandsaw. I'd be a bandsaw with a blade that would never ever get dull. I hope.
Where do you find inspiration?
Maker camp.
The battery recharges come from all the people and all of the things we share and the things I see that they make that add to me.
Here. Yeah, here actually has been big. Every time I come back, I end up in my shop more time in like October, November than I do the rest of the year.
I find a lot of inspiration from nature as well as other artists and other makers in the community.
Yeah, makers and I'd say pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
I find inspiration from other makers. The events like these are just what makes my life so much more interesting because I can pull from other creative people.
Man, places like this, right? Like coming here and in the outdoors too, for sure.
The portraits, I find inspiration just from the energy that the people bring, and that's what I try to capture. So,
like a customer is asking for a particular thing and I've never made it before, I'm definitely going to look to either YouTube or somebody else on Instagram that has probably done it, or even ask those people.
Inspiration is everywhere, from this janky mic holder that you have, because I see the way it's made. It's made on something flat, and it's just cut out separate, and then it's folded. You know, you take things apart in your mind. You don't know where it's going to come from. You just have to be keen. You have to be open to it.
All over. I read a lot, or even like a table. Like I see a table that's got a really cool like stretcher on it, or like with some cool tusk tenons. It's like, okay, why can't we do that with a timber frame somewhere?
All the old machines that I use in my shop and all the old machines that I restore in my shop. The style, the build, the design of them all is so different than what's out there today. That's super inspiring to me to have that time period in my shop when people cared not only how they worked, but how they looked.
Just sort of like what I would have wanted as a child. You know, it's like I definitely wanted a sword, so I made a sword.
YouTube, internet, friends, just random people, things in the sky.
I watch a lot of channels like The Art of Craftsmanship, Samurai Carpenter, people like that for years. The nice work they do, it always helps you drive yourself to be better at what you do.
I mean, one of my best qualities, I would say, is creative problem solving. I see something or see somebody struggling with something, and I try to figure out a way to make it better.
It may just sound cliche, but from each other. We bounce ideas off each other and kind of just transforms into something more like, we wouldn't have been thinking this, and she says, what if you try this?
It's 100% my environment and whatever I'm studying in that moment. My love for the human figure and my love for the lily flowers, that study I was painting, and now we're sculpting them. Yeah. And around me in that environment is our baby girl.
Yeah. So same, she gets those ideas and then that's where I get mine.
Yeah, right.
If you could meet any maker, dead or alive, who would it be?
He probably wouldn't consider himself a maker, but my favorite hand engraver his name is Phil Coggin. He's out of the UK, but I would like to meet him someday. Hopefully that happens. I don't know how it would, but yeah.
Can I have a combo of Nick Offerman and Pablo Picasso?
The great-grandfather of Gramberg, Elof Gramberg. That dude, he came back from the war. He was up in the Pacific Northwest and said, how can we make this better? Exactly like maker in the essential picture of, hey, I'm in the middle of a mountain, I need a sharpener, I need to sharpen my chain better, I need to cut this wood better. Yeah, definitely Elof. Seems like a cool dude.
I would probably meet Nikola Tesla
Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla would be the maker I would meet.
He's challenging the ability to solve problems that we don't see as understanding, and so we put a stigma around that.
He invented something that was phenomenal for the time, but wasn't accepted as like the standard moving forward. And like, I want to know how he dealt with that setback and how it affected the rest of his inventing life.
Yeah, because he was a wild maniac.
You know, I'm going to go way out of the box here. Not necessarily a maker. I would probably pick like Anthony Bourdain. I'd love to sit down and have some drinks and dinner with Anthony Bourdain.
That dude's a maker. That dude makes some like good quality content for the world.
Well, I feel like I've already met you, but I feel like I've met all the makers that I have really wanted to meet here already. I guess I could meet them again.
Oh, I'm not ready for that. My grandfather. He was a furniture maker. My grandfather and my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather was a blacksmith at the Rock of Ages quarry in Barrie, Vermont. And he was the tool maker there. And he was a fantastic tool maker, and I knew that because I have his tools. My grandfather was a furniture maker, and I use a lot of his tools on a daily basis. I have his saw, actually, right here. So this is my grandfather's dovetail saw, and this was one of his favorites, and it's one of my favorites as well. And I never really got to meet my grandfather. I got pictures of him holding me when I was young, but I've gotten to learn more about him through the tools that he used and the work that he did. And I think that it's something just in the family and the blood that gets passed down. So if I had to meet any maker, I think it would have to be him. Although I feel like I have met him in some senses just through looking at his work and using his tools.
What's a piece of advice that you would give to a new maker?
Ride motorcycles. Because then it gives you a purpose, you know. Like it gives you welding, it gives you precision machining. It just gives you something that you can have as a small portable project, and it gives you the ability to come out to these things.
I still say don't be afraid to post things. Like even if they're not good, it's going to get better because when you post those things, you'll get some comments from really good people, or you can send it to good people that, hey, you know, what do you think of this? And all of a sudden they start giving you ideas to bounce off of and build from. Everybody that's good kept going. That's the difference in them.
Just do it. Stop thinking about it. Stop overthinking about it. Just do it.
Everything you do the first time is going to look like a turd. Everything you do the second time is going to look like a turd.
It's probably going to suck. Make it again. It's never going to be perfect. Just start.
Nobody's perfect. Everybody's started at the bottom. And even if they have 100,000 followers, they still make mistakes. So everybody's human, and don't take things too hard.
A person who doesn't make mistakes hasn't done anything. You have to fail. You have to be okay with failure. You have to, and that's the struggle is how you learn. And as long as you stay with it, an artist is someone who stays with it.
It'll get better.
There's no one like you.
Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. Even the people with the big names, they're so friendly, and everyone is really, honestly, just willing to help.
If you have to work with a bunch of different people, take one thing from each person and make it your own and mold it into your own way of doing things.
Yeah, you need to have, you can't just go by one source.
I wouldn't. I don't. I wouldn't give them advice, and my advice to them would be to not give advice to anyone else.
I always say the same thing. Try something new every build.
Forgetting about what a maker is and just doing the challenging things, I think would be my advice. And so
I feel that a lot of people get frustrated because they're not advancing fast enough, and it's really about the journey and the people along the way.
Enjoy the suck, because there's going to be a lot of it, and just keep on doing what you're doing regardless of success or not.
Practice makes better. It's not going to make perfect. So just be patient with the process. Trust it.
There's a level of, oh, I want to be here, but you're not there yet. Don't get frustrated with yourself. Just keep at it. Keep doing it. If you like it, eventually it'll come.
You know, if you screw up, keep going.
I would say to find is like a community like this, you know, like to be involved with and just make these types of connections with everyone you can meet here and that kind of thing, man. It's been real helpful for me.
Take classes. before you go and buy a bunch of tools, before you invest in everything that you need to do what you want to do, get the knowledge first.
Just make some simple stuff. Don't go too big. Make a lot of smaller stuff because you're going to get a lot more reward. You're going to see things come together faster. So don't plan a desk. Maybe plan a small box.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know if it's going to work. You don't know if you're going to like it. You don't know how it's going to go until you try it. And if you're afraid to try it because you've never done it before, you're never going to go anywhere else. So just make it.
On the opposite spectrum. For me, because of epoxy resin, a lot of times it's all about being prepared before you pour. Prepare first, educate yourself, ask questions, get answers, then pour.
Ready, aim, shoot.
Exactly.
Don't ready, shoot, aim.
Yes.
Ready, aim, shoot. Yeah.
Correct.
I think the biggest mistake I see people enter our space is they do it for money. And they get frustrated when they don't make money right away. You have to do it because you love it, and because you love it, and because you keep doing it, you will make money. But people become impatient right away, and they call me. They say, "Oh, I have 500 subscribers. How can I start getting advertisements?" You have to wait till they ask you.
There have been so many people that I've met up here and in my life that their art could have stopped real easy if they just went with what other people think instead of what their soul told them. And that idea of giving into your own inner muse, I'm going to call it. It's a horrible term, but inner muse it's a transforming experience because you get to grow your own confidence in what you're creating. And that is just a glorious thing.
Make it or buy it.
Are you serious? Make it. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Make it 100%.
Make it all the way.
Probably make it.
My gut always says make it, and then my logic a lot of the time says buy it.
The practicality.
Yeah.
Both. I like to buy tools to make stuff with. Whereas, say, for instance, Matthias or John Hayes, they're great at making stuff, and it proves that you don't need a lot to make good tools. But I love engineering of tools, so for me, finding a good bandsaw, I like the stories behind tools. So I like buying the tools and I like using them to make stuff.
Buy it. Don't make it. Make the things you know how to make. Don't know how to make it, buy it. Someone else knows how to make it better than you ever will.
Oh, that's no brainer. You have to make it. You have to make it. Yeah.
Make it. Definitely make it if you can. There's some things you have to buy. I don't know how to make a 2x72 belt grinder, although it would be a fun project at some point maybe.
There's the maker mentality.
Although I think it would be fun. I don't know if it's worth it or not. I could try it someday.
Well, I'm a control freak, so probably make it.
If you want to try to make it yourself and you have a passion for trying to make that work, make it.
There's something very fulfilling about working or using something that you've made. More so than buying the best quality something. It's just that reward and that memory of using your creation. So I would say make it.
I'm a buyer. Some things just, it's easier to just buy instead of making.
For me to go out and, spend $30 to $50 on a pair of tongs or whatever it is, versus the hours I'm going to spend trying to figure it out, get the tooling right, everything else, it's not worth it to me. I'd rather be using the tongs to make something I actually want to make.
Make it.
Oh, always make it. Yes.
Always think about making it.
Make it. It's got to be make it. Every time I see something, I'm like, ooh, I think I can make that.
Switch, man. I can buy a knife from somebody, but I also can make one. I can buy a painting from somebody, but I also can make one. I think that's part of the process. And the art community has to support itself, and the maker community has to support itself. It's all about celebrating each other and celebrating what we love and what we do.
Make it, 100%. That's not even a question. Don't ask that.
If it's something you can do, build it. And if you can't, then build it and say you made it.
Yeah, all my hammers are made by one maker. My tongs and stuff, I've made a few, but yeah, most of the stuff is bought.
If you have the means to make it and the time to make it, go for it. If it's something that you want to just try to do and that you're okay if it doesn't go to plan, all right. But if it's something that you need that's going to help you even make the thing you want to make, buying it's okay.
Buy it. Buy the tools to make the stuff.
Yep.
Buy the stuff to support the other person.
See, sometimes it's better to buy it and then concentrate on making work instead of making tools.
Oh, make it. Not buying anything. Don't overly spend money on things that you don't need, and you know, make the things. You know, if you can make something and save yourself the money, then do it, because you're building that sense of accomplishment. You know, you think about like when your kid makes something for you at school and they bring it home to you, like a cup or something like that. It's just like, wow, this is so cool. My kid made this, you know. That's way better than going to a store and paying $20 for a nice coffee mug or something like that.
Oh, come on. That's a no-brainer. Make it. Right. Even if it takes 60 hours and twice the amount of money as it would, you can make it.
Thanks so much to Austin and the Handel family for hosting another great maker camp at the Blackthorne Resort. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, our podcast, the Art of Craftsmanship Podcast, and Patreon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.